The Aggies land their quarterback of the future as top 100 recruit Husan Longstreet commits to Texas A&M.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. What a weekend it was, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Elko is dunking on people. He lands 2 commits, 4-star quarterback Husan Longstreet, and then, of course, the 4-star offensive lineman Marcus Garcia. What a Sunday it was for Texas A&M fans. Add on top of that what happened on the baseball field, which we will talk about in segment 3. It was a great weekend to be a Texas A&M fan, except for the Jabre Barber injury news, which we will discuss here in a few minutes. But first, we got to talk about Husan Longstreet, a kid that we've been talking about here on Locked On Aggies forever. We've had Brian Smith on the show, Locked On recruiting expert, to break down Longstreet as a player. And you're getting a guy in Longstreet who, when you project Texas A&M's quarterback depth chart next season, the following season, I think could legitimately be competing for the starting role in his second season playing for the Aggies. Watching Longstreet as a player, he has a really strong arm, incredibly strong. He has a quick release, throws the football with a lot of velocity. I like that, the zip, as they say. He throws a pretty football. He can use his legs. I was reading that he has gotten better with his legs athletically, knowing when to take off of late. That wasn't his calling card in his first couple years of high school, but last year he's starting to figure that out, which is great because he's athletic. You want to be able to have that presence in the pocket to where, okay, hey, I need to bail. I need to get out of here. I'm going to try and pick up 4 yards on 1st and 10, set up 2nd and 6, instead of taking a sack and having to be 2nd and 14, whatever. So, when you watch the tape, and Brian said this on the show on Friday, I really like Longstreet's ability to deliver a strong, firm pass. That's what stands out, is how elite the arm talent is. I also like that he's playing in that system in California. He's a California kid from Corona, California. A lot of talented quarterbacks have come out of California. There's no secret there. We know that all the time. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL, in college football, that have come from California. And I think Husan Longstreet is going to be the next name on a long list of quarterbacks that end up moving on to the NFL. So when you talk about Longstreet's path to playing time, it's an interesting one because Connor Wigman's going to be a junior this season. So that means when Longstreet is a freshman, Wigman will be a senior, assuming Wigman doesn't move on to the NFL. Then you're going to have Henderson. You're still going to have Marcel Reed. You're still going to have Miles O'Neill. I think you're going to see somebody hit the portal, and I've hinted at this. Could it be O'Neill at that point? Could it be Henderson? Could it be Marcel Reed? I have a feeling at some point, whichever one of the two quarterbacks, whether it's Henderson or whether it is Marcel Reed, doesn't end up being the guy at the end of this year or the backup guy to Wigman, because I do still assume he's going to win the race for this season. I assume the backup there is going to the guy who doesn't win QB2 is going to hit the portal. Based on upside, I think Marcel Reed wins that job. I've had somebody, supposedly I have a narrative against Jalen Henderson, which I've said 100,000 times how good of a player I think Henderson is. I like I like Connor Wigman better than both Marcel Reed and Jalen Henderson, but I like Marcel Reed's upside more than I like Jalen Henderson's. There's no denying what we saw from Henderson last year. And I could be completely wrong on this, but I do have a feeling, and this is the sad reality of college football nowadays. I would love for Henderson to be here and Marcel Reed to be here, Longstreet to be here soon, Miles O'Neal and Wigman. Let's keep them forever. Let's keep them to them in their 40s. I wish you could do that. Obviously, we got eligibility and all that silly stuff. I'm just kidding. But, players are going to hit the portal. So I think when Longstreet gets to campus, this room is going to look a lot different as a whole. I think that you're going to see one of those two guys hit the portal. I can't get a feeling on Miles O'Neal. I just don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to be a guy who has a legit role at Texas A&M. He's got, like Longstreet, he's got incredible arm talent. But I think he's a great football player, but I'm not sure if he's ever going to be better than any of the other options Texas A&M has. Now, let's see. Let's let him get here. Let's see what he can do. I don't want to write him off before he's even got here. But I just have a feeling I'd rather have Longstreet long-term than I would O'Neal. But I love this Texas A&M quarterback room. That is one takeaway. I love every quarterback on this roster. A lot of these guys, I think next season you could see when Longstreet is a freshman, and I'll have to look at eligibility because I don't know. I think Marcel Reed was a sophomore last year, or Marcel Reed was a freshman last year. Connor Wigman was a sophomore last year. So yes, Marcel Reed was a freshman last season. Connor Wigman was a sophomore. Jalen Henderson, I don't know what he was listed as. Let me see. I forget how many years he spent at Fresno State before he got to Texas A&M. I'm trying to see if in year 2 he's listed as a sophomore. So assuming he's a sophomore, he'll be a junior. Yeah, he'll have eligibility in Longstreet's second season, and I think that's where this is going to get interesting. Can Longstreet beat out a guy like Wigman or a guy like Reed or a guy like Henderson in his second season? In his first season, I think all three of those guys are going to be more talented. Can he beat him out in his second season? That will be very, very interesting to me. So I love this addition when it comes to Longstreet. Incredible football player. He's athletic. He can move. I love that Coach Kleinman got him. 6'1.5", 195-pound quarterback. He's ranked 44th in the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings. As I said, strong arm, uses his legs when he needs to. He's in a great system there in California. Quick release. Chose the Aggies over Auburn. All around, I really like this addition. And what's there not to like? He's the 44th best player in the class. Obviously, we're not talking about a quarterback ranked 700 here. This is a legit dude that everybody and their mama wanted on their roster. And the Aggies got him. This is a massive addition. But this is a kid that I think is really going to be special during his time at Texas A&M. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for him. And his path to playing time, we can sit here and project it now as I kind of tried to, but it's all going to depend on what happens with the portal over the rest of this season, next season with some of these guys, because you've got 3 exceptional quarterbacks right now with Wigman, Reed, and Henderson. So it's going to be really problematic to see how this all works out, but that's the fun of college football now. We get to talk about who's going to leave, who's going to stay. So Husan Longstreet, welcome to the family. This kid is special. This dude is going to be a dominant force at Texas A&M, and I cannot wait to see him sling the football in College Station. So we're going to talk a little bit about Marcus Garcia next. I've seen him listed as a tackle some places. I've seen him listed as an interior offensive lineman some places. We'll talk about him and what his future at Texas A&M might look like coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. If you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're not at the right place. I say that all the time. LinkedIn is the place you go to find a job. I've used it time and time again. It is the best application. I've hired on LinkedIn. I found jobs personally on LinkedIn. There is you are crazy to not use LinkedIn to find a job, A, and B, hire for a role within your small or large company. It's the best tool, and it's free. You can save yourself money. This is where you got to go hire your next whatever position you're looking for at your business. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. So the other commit that the Aggies landed on Sunday, and I think part of the fun of recruiting is are we going to get these guys? Are we not going to get them? I felt personally really confident that Texas A&M was going to land both of these players, and that did end up happening. But Marcus Garcia, I've seen him it's 50-50. I see him listed as an interior offensive lineman some places. I see him listed as an offensive tackle some places. In high school, he plays a lot of tackle, right tackle. It sounds like to me, and listen, 6'5", 270 pounds, a kid that they're going to add to his frame. And I think when you do that is when you can decide, hey, what do we want to do with this guy? And if I had to make a prediction right now, I would say he plays an interior offensive lineman at the next level. But the important thing here is he can play all over the offensive line. I don't think he's going to have any issue going from tackle to guard to tackle, whatever. He's going to be able to play all around. So he's a great puller. He has really, really good feet. He's strong as can be, competes in the shot put, strong football player. And that stuff matters. That's going to help you get on the field early when you're strong and you can move larger human beings. You got to be able to do it. If you want to get on the field early, you got to come in naturally strong and get stronger in the weight room as you put on weight and kind of lose you go into your man muscles. So he's got a good punch. He's got a solid set of footwork. A great footwork. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. Offensive line's what I played when I played football. It's just clearly. But if you love beautiful offensive line play, go watch this kid's tape. It's solid. I like a kid. Like, it's funny. We talked about Asindre Afua, the current Texas A&M freshman, and you watch his tape. And they said this in the scouting report, he was just larger than everybody else, and he just mowed people over. And in the scouting report, it says, listen, he's working on his footwork. That offensive line play is beautiful as well, when you just mow people over. And that's what Papa Afua was doing. And now they're saying, hey, yeah, let's work on his form a little bit, work on his footwork. With Garcia, while he is very, very capable to mow people over, he has incredible footwork. I'm telling you, it's fun tape to watch. I really recommend it. So when it comes to when this guy is going to get on camp, when this guy is going to get some playing time, I think he's a guy that you could see take reps as a sophomore. I'm never, ever going to predict an offensive lineman to play as a freshman. That's just not something we're ever going to do here at Locked On Aggies, because it is so rare. It is so rare to see. We saw Basantis last year, and what did we see? We saw him struggle at times. Now, heading into this season, we feel a lot better about Basantis because he's older, he's stronger, he's faster, he's everything you need him to be. So I don't like freshmen getting out there on the offensive line. It's a tough place to play. It is a tough place to go out there and play on the offensive line in the SEC as a true freshman, anywhere in college football as a true freshman. So I don't think you're going to see Garcia as a freshman, but he is a really good player, ranked 308th in the composite rankings. I like his ability to play all over the line. I think that's going to happen more. It sounds like, and based on tape, it's mostly tackle in high school, but I think that he's going to be able to develop that going forward just based off body type. And I think, he knows that. I think players know that you need to be able to play both positions when you're a guy like him, 6'5", not quite 6'7", 6'6", offensive tackle height for the SEC. Obviously, you can play at 6'5", but 6'5" is more of a guard height in the SEC. And I like his quickness. Having to play tackle, it makes you quicker because you have to get outside when you got a pass rusher coming off the edge. that helps when you're playing guard. If you can be a quick guard, it'll help when you pull. You're in business for a lot of different things. So being a quick guard is a good thing, and I think playing tackle helps you develop that quickness because you're having to guard some of these edge rushers that are really quick. So I like Garcia a lot. I don't think he's going to walk in as a freshman when he gets here and immediately step on the field and play, but I do think that in his sophomore season, he could be a player competing for reps. And the last thing I want to say before we get on to Jabre Barber and what's going on with him, I think that Texas A&M, even under the previous regime, I think that Coach Elko did a good job holding on to a good amount of Coach Fisher's offensive linemen. I really like the last couple of cycles of offensive linemen Texas A&M has recruited. I think a lot of these players are going to be really, really good down the road. So I'm pretty stoked to see that. So yeah, I am excited to see what this offensive line looks like down the road for Texas A&M. So those are the two commits. Last thing before we talk about Jabre Barber, the class currently ranks 14th and it is 6th in the SEC. It is still weird having to count Texas and Oklahoma as part of the SEC. I don't believe Texas was above Texas A&M. I believe Oklahoma was, but it was so weird. Like I went over mine, went 5 and went, oh, nope, Oklahoma at 6. Never going to get used to that. But Jabre Barber, out several months after undergoing foot surgery, he was having a really good spring. This is a real blow for the Aggies. Was he going to work into the starting lineup? Y'all know who I thought was going to be out there with the starters. I thought we were going to see Noah Thomas, Jay Walker, and Moose. I thought Jabre Barber was going to play a lot of reps to where he's going to be a guy that you want healthy. You know what I mean? It's not just a depth guy. He was going to be a legitimate weapon for this team. Sounds like he was helping out on punts, and it sounds like he was having a great spring. So here's the question. Let's do this. We're going to get on the calendar. We're going to count some stuff out. So we've got half of April, May, June, July, and then pretty much all of August. So several months. What it defines, see, this is where you get in these injuries and you get to going back and forth. I would say several months is a couple months is 2. Several is probably, 3, 4, 5 in that range. So I think that there's a chance 1, 2, 3. You basically have 4.5 months, give or take, to get healthy. I think there's a chance that he does get back and ready for the start of the season. And if he does miss time, I think it would only be a handful of games. I'm not taking several of 6 months. I'm also not a doctor, clearly. I know the glasses might make it seem like I am. I am not. But I think I'm going to predict him. I mean, every report I've read on this, it's just several months. There's no, it's hard to make a timetable, but several months to me means 4 or 5 in that range, which should put him back around the start of the season. Maybe miss a week or 2, which would stink because that means you're missing the Notre Dame game. But, looking at this, you hate losing Jabre Barber. I think he was going to really help this football team. So now the question is this. I mean, we still feel good about our receivers. We feel good about Tees. We feel good about the guys you already got on the roster. You got some young guys that can come up. You still got Allen, the other transfer. And then the guys that we know are going to be good in Moose and Noah Thomas, and then, of course, Jay Walker. So now the question is, with Barber going down with this injury, needing surgery, do you go get somebody out of the portal? It opens, I believe, on the 16th. So any day now, it's going to be wide open 2 days. So today's 15th, so it'll be open tomorrow, I believe. It's either tomorrow. It's in the next 2 or 3 days. I believe it's the 16th, though. Which is going to create a lot of fun conversations because it's going to be super interesting to see what Texas A&M does in the portal. But do you go get a receiver now? I was concerned about the receiver room. The receiver room was a room that I was saying, hey, go get somebody. Then I started to get more comfortable with the guys we had. Now you lose somebody to an injury that we aren't sure if he's going to be good to go. We don't know yet. We don't have a timetable. Well, all we've got is the word several. So I think if you're concerned about it, go get somebody. That's just what you got to go do. You got to go get a player if you are concerned about it. So I think this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a tough thing to manage. This is a player that you were going to see play a lot of snaps, help in the punt return game. So losing Jabre Barber for any amount of time is tough. But we're gonna find out what's the staff going to do. Are they going to go in the portal? Are they going to go try and find somebody, or do they feel confident with who they've got, the depth they've got, and maybe Barber being able to be back and ready for at least one of the first couple of weeks of the season? That is all going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll keep you updated as we hear more on Jabre Barber. Also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It helps a ton. If you're listening on a podcast platform, leave the show 5 stars. Really does help it. I appreciate you every day being here. I mean, it means the world to me, getting to interact with everybody and have conversations. So I really do appreciate that. We're going to talk about a little thing called Texas A&M baseball, and Texas A&M baseball might be the best team ever created. We'll talk about that and what the Aggies did this weekend on the diamond, coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to tell you about our wonderful friends over at FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I got a prop. I've got a prop. What is it that I've got today, ladies and gentlemen? It's a broom. If you are listening on a podcast platform, you obviously cannot see it, but this is a broom. And want to know why we have a broom? I will tell you. The Aggies swept the Vanderbilt Commodores, a really good Vandy team, and Texas A&M looked like the better team every single inning. One more time, here's the broom. I just want everybody to enjoy it. It's Monday. Everybody's at work. Everybody's probably going, man, I'm at work right now. Just remember this. That'll make you feel better. And we'll bring this broom out now. Now that we're going to bring this out the rest of the season for every sweep. But what a weekend it was for this baseball team. So game 1, you win 15-0 in 7 innings. You want to talk about dominant. Lavalette has 2 home runs in this game. Montgomery continues to utterly smash baseballs with 2 home runs. Lavalette has 6 RBIs. Montgomery has 4. That'll work when your 2 best hitters are doing that. You had 8. Okay, this is not a joke. I'm being serious when I tell you this stat. Texas A&M had 8 hitters with 2 hits. I'm pretty sure the only person that didn't have 2 hits was Grahovac. So everybody go yell at Grahovac for only having 1 hit. I mean, come on. What are we doing? I'm just kidding, of course, because Grahovac comes up huge in game 3. We'll talk about it here in a minute. But everybody tip the cap to Prager. I wrote one word next to his name, and it is unhittable. He was unhittable in the 7-inning, keyword shutout, 7-inning shutout because of the offensive dominance to go with the pitching dominance. 7-inning shutout, 10 strikeouts, 4 hits, no free bases, no walks, no hit by pitch. I'll tell you this. You want to know how you set your baseball team up for success? You have your Friday your Friday starter go 7 innings. That's what you do. You have your number 1 guy go 7 innings. Or not 9, of course, too, had this been a 9-inning game. But want to know why? You save bullpen. When you're scoring 15 runs, Vandy's got pitchers coming in left and right. They're wasting their bullpen while you are saving your bullpen because of what Prager was able to do. Dominant game 1 victory. As I always say, when you win game 1, you are putting yourself in a really good spot to win game 2. Or win the series, which they did in game 2 when they beat Vandy 9-0. So we are now talking 15-0 the first game, 9-0 in the second game. And then what do? They don't score. They don't score a run in 2 baseball games. You score 5 in the bottom of the first. I mean, just go and just give them a left-right hook right in the face. Bam, bam, elbow. UFC, knock them out early. Appel was 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. And you win this game 9 runs on 5 hits is super, super interesting. You get a home run from Grahovac. Listen, he had a great weekend. except for that first game where only had one hit. I mean, what? This guy, only one hit. I'm going to give him a hard time because you know how cool it would have been to say that 9 hitters had 2 hits. But Grahovac, I'm just kidding. We're giving you a hard time, Grahovac. We love you. But he hits a homer in game 2. Tanner Jones is dominant. 7.1 innings, 6 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, no runs. Obviously, because Vandy didn't score a run the entire game, that will win baseball games. Then game 3, you win 12-6 for the Broom, the sweep. Vandy punches you in the face early, going up 4-0 in the second. But then the Aggies score 6 in the 5th and 3 in the 8th to end up winning this baseball game. Grahovac, here you go, buddy. We were giving you a hard time. You're 3 for 4 in this game with 2 RBIs. Lavalette, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Camarillo, 3 for 4 with an RBI. But the difference maker was Cortez. He comes in 4.1 innings, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs. And what was so special about his performance and his development this year is the off-speed stuff. It's really getting there. Obviously, he throws literal smoke, but finding the off-speed is what's made him a good pitcher and what could potentially, get him to the show someday if he keeps developing this stuff. So, huge sweep over a really good Vandy team, in my opinion. And I say really good. I'm going to tell you why. Because Texas A&M is really gooder. I'm kidding. Texas A&M is that good. So, all jokes aside, this team's dominant. And as I tell y'all every day, as you every dayers know right here at Locked On Aggies, this team can win the College World Series. Go to bed tonight knowing that this team can win it all. That's how good they are. They could be number 1 this week with Arkansas losing the series. I forget who they lost to, but they could be. This team is really good. Please, please, please enjoy it. Big series coming up on the road against Alabama this weekend. We will break that down. Of course, we've got the spring game coming up. A lot of fun this week right here at Locked On Aggies. Thank y'all so much for being here every single day. I really, really appreciate it. Hope everybody has an outstanding rest of their day today, and we will see you tomorrow.